Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I hope you guys are all having a good start to your Friday. It always feels early for me when I do these. It always feels like it's morning time and it's straight up lunchtime. But I always need my coffee, so I've got my coffee. It's a beautiful day outside, so I'm hoping to actually maybe get some pictures done today. That would be nice. I get to photograph my new Dobby. So I finished my Dobby cardigan. I finally have two Dobbies. So I started off with one when I wrote the pattern, but we just finished the crochet along. Let me get my hair out of the way. So this one's got the hood. And it's like springtime colors. So I'm so excited to finally have finished my second Dobby cardigan. This one is acrylic, so it'll be, a little more springtime friendly. So yes, I'm super excited. Oh, and Kayla, I see you. I moved to Alabama, so I'm not in Atlanta anymore. Oh. Hey, everybody. But if you ever come to Birmingham, Alabama, let me know, and we'll have to get together and take some pictures. Because I have plenty of stuff to play dress up in now. Okay, guys, so today is our next episode of Pink Sheep and Friends. This has been so much fun. I enjoy these more than I can even explain. It's so much fun getting to bring other makers on, chat with them about what they're doing, what they love, how they got started, what their business is like, what their journey was, all of the things. And so today, and I'm not sure if she's on here yet or not, but we are going to be talking with Kelsie of PassioKnit Goods. So I'm super excited to have her on. I actually was not following Kelsie. I didn't know of her. Instagram never fed me any of her stuff as, suggested things. And so, it wasn't until I went on TikTok, which it took me a minute to make the jump, move to TikTok, try it out, but I've discovered new people. So it makes it worth it, having done that. And she is here. So I am going to go ahead and bring her on. Let's see if I can do this. Here we go. Let's see if this works. Crossed. I always get nervous when I do this. I don't know if it's always going to work. So, there we go. It worked.
Hello.
Hello. How are you this afternoon?
Good.
I always want to say morning. So when I first got on here, it always feels like it's morning when I do these, and I know it's not.
Oh yeah, I got up, so.
Yeah, it's morning time to me because the coffee has kicked in, feeling good. I'm where I need to be. Okay, so welcome and thank you so much for coming on one of these live chats with me. I really appreciate it. I have a huge list of questions, so we will not have a lack of things to talk about. So I think this will be super fun. But the first thing we can do is just, if you want to just give people a little intro, who you are, what you do. It doesn't have to be crazy intricate, just kind of a brief overview.
Okay, well, I guess hello if you have never seen me before. My name is Kelsie, and I have a business called PassioKnit Goods. I am a full-time crochet designer. I also sell finished products. My main thing is crochet crop tops, but I also I kind of do a bit of everything. But the thing I do the least would be amigurumi. I'm mainly into garments. So
That makes sense. I think I I can count on one hand the number of times I've made amigurumi. I have made them. I have tried it, and I do have to say I made these little unicorns once, and I could not keep them. When I made them, they sold, but I didn't enjoy it. It was one of those this is great, and they're selling, but I don't really want to make any more.
Yeah, I usually do it for family,
Yeah.
I have nieces and nephews and like, you know, so I make them for little ones, but I don't really sell them that much.
I think that allows it to be still enjoyable because it kind of steps you outside your box, gives you a break from what you're usually doing, but there's not any pressure there,
Right.
because if it's a gift, then it's like, okay, I'll do something maybe I won't enjoy as much, but, I know that it's going to someone who will love it, then I think it makes it worth it.
Yeah. The only thing I don't mind making is bees because it's just as
Yeah.
simple.
I have not made a bee, and I need to because I feel like so many people are making these bees and they're cute as hell. I
They sell.
mean, I love seeing them.
They sell really good. So,
That's good to know too. And
yeah.
I haven't done a show in forever. That was something I do want to go ahead and ask you before I forget because I don't have it written down. Do you do shows? Do you do anything in person or is it all online?
I did shows pre-COVID, but I have not done one in like 3 years.
Since COVID?
Right.
Yeah. And
Um,
remind me where you're located.
I'm in Missouri,
Okay.
uh, southern Missouri, and that's another thing. Because I make crop tops, I actually don't sell very good at shows. Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
in a more conservative area, I don't sell really well at shows unless I
Mm-hmm.
make a bunch of amigurumi, which I don't like making, or just like a bunch of hats. So
Yeah.
I don't really like doing shows.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know I was lucky for the short amount of time that I did shows. I was lucky because Atlanta was so eclectic and people didn't mind spending money for
Right.
handmade items. So it was a very lucrative place to be a maker if you were going to shows. But if I tried to do anything in like the rural areas, because I lived outside of Atlanta, I had to drive into Atlanta about, 30 minutes to an hour, depending on where the show was. But if I tried to do anything local, it was usually like a church show or, like a little downtown area show. And with those, I had to either change what I brought or lower my prices if I was going to make a profit.
Where I
So,
live, the biggest shows are like fish fries
mm.
because Bass Pro is the headquarters of Bass Pro is here, and that's where it started. I don't know if you
I
know
didn't
about
realize that.
but like so it's a bunch of older people.
Yeah.
So and yeah, I can only do winter shows, and I can bring cardigans, but I have to sell them for like $150 to make a profit, and like there's not a
Yeah.
lot of people that are looking to spend $150 at a craft show. So
Yeah. That
I
makes sense for sure.
sell hats pretty well, I guess.
So I do want to ask you because it's so interesting. I realized this early on when I was trying to really look at like the business side of things,
Mhm.
and there's always that business advice that says that you have to figure out your ideal customer. And I think that this community is so interesting because it's so varied. I
Right.
mean, we have people of all ages from all backgrounds, all styles who are interested in either making, like crocheting themselves or purchasing crocheted items.
Right.
And so for me, knowing that you're 22, right? Are
Mhm.
you still 22? 22?
Yeah.
And that you already have your business full time, that you're selling multiple items. I would have killed to have that at 22. Like I didn't even know what I wanted to do. 22, I think I was still in school. No idea what I was going to do with my life. Did not have the drive. I mean, I worked at like Moe's Southwest Grill. And I would love to know for you what that has looked like for you, how you feel like your age in comparison to it within this community, what that has meant for you and what your smaller community looks like of your followers and how that has grown and changed.
I think that it's interesting because it's like I get viewed as I it's weird because people that crochet um I actually get shut off a lot from the older generation. Like a lot of them actually don't even see me. Like they don't even see my work. I
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of younger followers
Mm-hmm.
like that crochet. And the older people like that are open to me, they do follow me and they're nice. And then I have had like some people in the older generation that are not really keen to like my style of crochet. I've had some
Mm-hmm.
sneak through that see me on the off chance and they're like, oh my gosh, you're making bikinis? Like, what are you doing? You
Yeah.
know? And but it's interesting because like they've never seen me before and I'm wondering how have they not seen me? Because it's
Yeah.
something with the internet and the algorithm. It's like
Yes.
they've been steered in a different direction. When the
Mm-hmm.
younger people, it's like they see me instantly on the
Yeah.
internet, and the older generation, they don't see me at all.
Yep.
But and then there's people in the middle ground where they do see me, and they have like bought my patterns and made my tops. Like I don't know if you know Wickedly Handmade.
Mm-hmm.
Andrea. She made my
Yep.
tops. She made a post about it yesterday, and she got a comment from some older woman, and she said something like, "Those tops are gross. Like, why are you making those?" And I was like, I can't believe that because I never get those comments because they just don't
Mm-hmm.
like me.
Yep.
Like, I don't
I
understand.
think that's really, really interesting that you even mentioned the algorithm because that's what I was thinking about. Because I did not discover you on Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible that maybe when I was flipping through reels, I might have seen one of your reels, but it didn't feed it to me enough for me to actually go to your page and realize the
Mm-hmm.
following that you had, the work that you were doing. It literally took me making the transition and getting on TikTok
Right.
because I was fed your profile immediately, you know, and I think a lot of that had to do with getting on TikTok and immediately looking at crochet items, and knowing the following that you have that's TikTok pushed that to me. But I was like, how have I not seen you on Instagram? So I think that's real. And I think you're onto something there when it comes to the algorithm and the age groups that are already following you and are already in your audience as to who your work is being pushed to.
I mean, I guess in a
So,
way I'm happy about it because I'm not being bombarded by a bunch of older people that are stuck in their ways. And that would be like,
mm-hmm,
I can't believe you're like making crochet like raunchy or whatever.
mm-hmm.
But like, I still want the cool older generation to follow me, you know? Like,
Yes. Yeah.
I
And
want them, but I'm scared of people that will be mean to me.
I think that it's good. It's good that you have the people that are following you want to be following you for the right reasons
Yeah,
because that gives you the positivity and the motivation to keep doing what you're doing because it's working. And if you're enjoying it, you should be able to continue doing that. You're
right.
successful. So yeah, you don't need the negativity. If people don't like it, honestly, I don't think your stuff is raunchy. That's my opinion. I'm on the younger side of, I'm like one generation ahead of you, I guess. I
Right.
don't know how many years span a generation, but is it a 10? I don't know. Um,
I mean,
but, but
I,
I have definitely seen more, I guess, raunchy, for lack of a better term. I've seen more exposed items
yeah,
that people have made when it comes to crochet. And I mean, look at all the people crocheting like penises and vaginas.
yes,
I mean, that's a big deal right now. Like that's all out there. And, you know, at least your top stick covers the important parts, you know, if that's what people are concerned about.
I
So
like
yeah.
you can crochet anything you want, like
Yeah.
whatever, you know? But I have also like the algorithm thinks that I would be cooler with the younger crowd. And I have also gotten messages from younger people that are saying, what the hell are you doing? You know?
Which
So
is kind of surprising
I know.
nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, you started crocheting clothing very early,
Right.
right? And we can
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit. Let's dive into that a little of how you learned to crochet and what that looked like in the beginning when you really started crocheting larger items and things like that.
Right. So I started crocheting whenever I was 13, uh, right before high school. So like late middle school, probably like the
Hmm.
summer before high school.
Okay.
I think that I started crocheting clothing because I was really inspired by Pinterest,
Hmm.
because that was like the early days of making Pinterest boards of like clothing. And I was like, I love these crochet crop tops. And I was like, I think I could make those because I was always like very artsy.
Hmm.
And before that, I was making loom knitting hats,
Oh yeah. Hmm.
because we actually did those in my art class in elementary school.
That's cool.
Yeah. Um, so I don't remember who took me to the store or how I got the supplies, but I was just like, I'm going to do this. So I looked it up on YouTube and I guess I did it. Like, I don't really
Hmm.
remember, but I searched up crochet crop tops. And one of the first people that got me into it was Crystal Everdeen. She was
Okay.
she was really big, like back in the day, like one of the only people
Hmm.
that was making crop top tutorials.
Oh, that's
Uh,
cool. I'm gonna have to look them up.
yeah, there's like tons of people that make crop top tutorials now, but
Yes.
back in the like 2010s, it wasn't that popular.
Hmm.
But I was pretty determined. I was like, I'm gonna do this. So I taught myself. I wasn't very good at it to start, but I I learned. I'd say I'm pretty good
Practice.
now.
Yeah. Well, and were you, so you made your first crop top and that turned into, I 'cause I remember reading on your website bio, I think it's your main website, that you were like making things for your friends in high school.
Yes, yeah. I was on the color guard team, so I would just make stuff in different sizes, and I would give them to all of the people on my team. I was like, "Can you try this on for me and like see if it fits? Can you try
That's
this
super
on for
smart.
me?" Yeah. So I would like make them all tell me their bra sizes, and then I'd be like,
Hmm.
and I would write it down, and then I would, and I would. That's how I made my size chart. Is because I had a big team of people, and I would just
Hmm.
make them all try stuff on for me, and then I would write it down how it would fit. And yeah, I'm not friends with any of them anymore. So yeah, but it was nice to have at the time, to have like a big group of people, like a
Hmm.
test group.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So now do you have testers now who make the sizes, or do you still make all of the sizes?
whenever I write a pattern, after I write it, I go through and I make every size. I make one of every size. Um, but that's also because I sell everything.
Hmm.
So it's just good to have inventory anyway.
That's smart. Because that's what I was going to say. That's a lot of work. But if your tops are selling, that
Yeah.
totally makes sense for you to be able to do all of that. Do you use outside testers at all for your work, or do you usually just do it all yourself when you test?
I like to use outside testers as well because it's good for exposure, just like
Hmm.
for your
Yep.
releasing pattern. But and it's good to have outside eyes anyway,
Hmm.
just for feedback. But I definitely do most of the testing myself for
I
sure.
think that's really interesting, the way that you started out with your sizing, because that was exactly what I did. When I wrote my very first pattern, I had no idea how to understand like gauge math and how to use that to like, I didn't know standard sizing. I didn't know any of that. And so when I did my first pattern, I did exactly what you did. I pulled in any of my friends that were willing to try the items on, And
Yeah.
I would even like drive to them. So I had one lady who worked at the tattoo shop that I was going to who was larger, especially like larger chested.
Hmm.
And I would bring her the item and I would make her try it on and I would figure out where the adjustments needed to be. I'd go back home, I would redo it, I'd bring it back, and make sure that everything worked out. Um, and then once I figured that out, I sent the test out and had, a few outside people do it for the same reason. But I hadn't really known anyone to specifically do that. Most people, I figured they like use some kind of tech editor or, oh gosh, there's a really loud thing that just went by on the road.
Yeah, I have people
uh,
filming all of my apartment buildings right now. I don't know if you can hear that.
I can't, so you're good. Um, but yeah, I think that's you have to do what you can. If you don't, maybe, now I can, I go to like Craft Yarn Council and I'll pull up the measurements and I know how to like do all of the math and I can just do it that way. But it took a while to get there. So I think
Mhm.
it's important. I tell people all the time, like, even if that's not your thing, there's other ways to do it, and you just have to figure out what works for you.
Yeah, I also use my sister and my mom
There
as
you go.
because my it was funny because like my mom doesn't wear that kind of stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
I would like pull her in my room like, Mom, can you try this top on for me? And I was like, I was like 15. I was like,
Yeah.
what's your bra size? And she's like, oh, she would like tell me. But like at this point I'm like, I've never seen her like she would wear like a bathing suit around me, but
Mm-hmm.
it was like, and she's like, yes, and she like take off her, you know, uh, and I was like, okay.
Hey, mom. Yeah.
But it's just so funny because she's like, oh yeah, absolutely. And she would like put on like these little tops for me, and like she's so supportive of me and everything. But it's just so awesome because my family is like a huge supporter for me, and I'm always so surprised anytime somebody that is a crocheter and they ask me, they're like, how does your family feel about it?
Mm-hmm.
Because their family like doesn't support them and like their dreams to like crochet full time. I don't get that because my family has always been 100% for me.
I was going to ask that. That's fantastic. I mean, I think we all kind of hope that we're going to have a community around us, especially localized and close,
Yeah.
that, you know, because things aren't easy. I mean, it's not, not anytime you're running your own business, you're going to have those concerns. You're probably going to get anxious every now and then about whether or not things are going to continue working when it comes to being able to support yourself. And I think if you don't have people cheering you on and continuing to be positive, then it's harder to overcome some of that. I don't know if you've found that, if that has helped you at all. Or
Right.
maybe you aren't anxious. I'm just anxiety ridden
Oh yeah,
sometimes.
really. I've been like pacing my apartment all morning just waiting for this live. So
Oh,
I'm anxious totally.
well, I wanted to ask you because Instagram has been my stomping ground. It's where I was comfortable. I kind of got on board fairly early, loved the photo aspect of it. But I know TikTok has been your world, and I would love to know what got you started on TikTok, if it was crochet or if you started on it as more of a personal account,
Hmm.
and why you prefer TikTok, what that has done for you to kind of build your community and your brand.
Okay. Well, TikTok was musically first.
Mm-hmm.
I was not on it as musically because at that point it was sort of known as like a cringy place. Um, but whenever it turned into TikTok, my boyfriend actually downloaded the app, and he
Mm-hmm.
had started telling me, he's like, I think you should get on here because it's starting to sort of turn into a cool place. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. It still seems kind of cringy to me. He's like, no, but it might be good for your business someday. And I was like, I'll think
Mm-hmm.
about it. I'll think
Mm-hmm.
about it. My boyfriend he thinks he's a businessman, so
Sometimes that's a good thing, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, I have a business degree. I'm like, whatever. um, but he convinced me at some point. So I downloaded the app in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I didn't start uploading videos until 2019. And I uploaded videos first as a personal account, but they
Mm-hmm.
didn't get any traction. So I decided to delete all of those videos, change my username, and go full force as a business account and start
Okay.
posting crochet videos only.
Uh-huh.
And then I started getting traction.
Do you feel like you were one of the first people that you found who were posting like crochet business videos, or were there already people you were following that were doing that before you?
No, there were already people that were bigger that were posting crochet, but they
Mm-hmm.
weren't huge. They were
Okay.
like 50K.
Okay.
I was the first person that hit 1 million on TikTok.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't realize that. That's amazing. Congrats.
I know. I was like, I actually, whenever I hit 1 million, I was like, am I the first person that ever hit 1 million on TikTok? That's a crochet account. And
Yeah.
I searched for like hours, and I was like, I think
Yeah.
I am. And I freaked out. I was like, there's
That's
no
so
way.
awesome.
Yeah. So I was, and I don't know if it's still that way or if there's someone else that's hit 1 million at this point. I'm not sure, but
Time for another search.
I know I need to look, but I was like, that's crazy. But yeah. Um, and I'm not sure why.
Hmm.
I will be 1000% honest. TikTok loves to push pretty female
Hmm.
people's posts. Like if you
Okay.
are pretty and a girl, your post
Hmm.
will get pushed more.
Interesting.
That's just the way it is. Like if you look nice,
Yeah.
then your post will get more views. But
I'm I'm interested too because like you said, there have been times where you've kind of felt like your age has kept you out of some of the other age group communities or kept you from being seen by some of those communities. And so part of it makes me wonder if the younger generation, just within your age range, younger than you, a little bit older than you, if that's why they follow you, if they kind of feel seen by you, if they feel supported by you, they want to support people who are their age. Maybe they don't feel like they connect with some of the older makers. Um, and maybe part of that's why, because I know TikTok is definitely from what I saw, it started out as a younger generation platform. I wasn't on it until a couple months ago. um, and I know like I knew my neighbor, her daughter had been on TikTok, and she's just out of college, so she's probably around your age now.
yeah,
And she was on there as like the dance side of things,
right.
because when you said cringy, I only knew of TikTok as like a dance platform. I didn't know what else went into it, but I knew people would like create a dance and other people would copy the dance.
Right.
That's the only thing I knew about TikTok.
I tried that, but I'm not very good at dancing, so
Me neither. We have that in common.
yeah.
I tried. I tried. I
Um,
feel like I feel like anytime I tried to dance, it looked like I was really trying to go back to like cheerleader days.
yeah,
Don't really want to be giving out that vibe.
yeah. I think that the age thing definitely plays a part into it because I also feel connected whenever I find someone that crochets and they are younger. But
Hmm.
I also do feel connected to the older generation as well. I'm kind of in the middle because like I am very, very close with my grandma,
Hmm.
and I have learned a lot of crochet techniques from older people. And
Hmm.
like I I do things in a very traditional way, you know. Like I've learned a lot from videos from older people on YouTube, and I like to do things like in a very neat way, and it's very finished, and like, you know, I like to have it done very nicely. I don't really like some of the newer ways that stuff is done. Sometimes if it's like a new thing and it's like done really nicely, I'm like, that's cool. But if it's a new way and it's like not nice, then I'm like, I'm not okay with that. But so I'm in the middle. It's like I connect with both sides, so that's why I like cool old people. I keep saying old people, but I'm like not trying to make
older.
Feel
older. Yes. Yeah.
Older,
just older than you.
Me. Yes.
Yeah. Of course.
But, I also like the younger generation because I connect with them because of my age, I guess.
Someone just said, I'm almost 40. This is handmade from pixie dust. I'm almost 40, but connect with the younger crafters because I act young. So there you go. Yes. So I have a couple of questions that we can focus in on.
Okay.
When did you decide that this could be a full-time thing for you?
I decided that whenever I was working my full-time job, I was a manager at a restaurant. I was working at a Freddy's, which is a burger place. I don't know if you have that. I was a supervisor there. I was working full-time. And I was also running my business on the side, and I was making more money with my business. And I was also like way behind on my orders because I was spending so much time at work. And I was like, I had to pick one, right? And I was like, well, I'm making more money with my business, so I'm gonna leave Freddy's. And I also love my business, so I'm gonna leave Freddy's. So it was like a no-brainer at that point. And also, I was living with my boyfriend, and he was like, pick your business. Like, if you don't make enough money, like, I'm here to support you anyway, you know. Like, and he was making enough money to cover my half of the rent if need be for like 1 month if I didn't make enough money or whatever. So
that's awesome. And you talked a little bit about that support, and that's really nice to know that you have him right there as well, kind of cheering you on and saying, you can do it.
Yeah. And also at that point, my YouTube channel was doing really well, and I had started making money there as well.
That's awesome. And that's hard to do. I have to say that is really hard to do. So kudos on getting, I think it's the watch hours that have gotten me. When you were working on that, did you find, because you don't go live on YouTube, do you? You just post your tutorials. So did you find that just continuing to post tutorials consistently got you there? Or was it more of getting people to go to your YouTube from like your TikTok to watch the videos?
Getting people to go to my YouTube from my TikTok helped a ton because just getting more people to watch
what was already there
helped get the watch hours up, because like getting one person, having one person, it's like watch more videos will take longer than having 100 people come watch one video.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah. So whenever my TikTok was gaining followers and I was like, hey guys, why don't you go to my YouTube channel? And they were all like, oh, wow, yes.
Yeah.
Because I was posting videos of my tops, and everyone was like, hey, how can I make that? And I was like, oh, I'll go make a tutorial of it really quick. And it was really easy for me at that time to crank out tutorials because it was like I had a bunch of orders. And so every order I could just make the order.
So smart.
And
Yeah.
while I was making the order, just film it and make it into a
Yeah.
tutorial. But now it's like I I'm making the same things over and over again. I'm like, I I can't make a tutorial for this because I already
Yeah.
have a tutorial for it. And so now it's much harder now because I have
Yeah.
to think of new things all the time, which is why I haven't posted in like a month on my YouTube channel.
So I do feel like some people get really intimidated by the idea of filming tutorials, filming videos for social media and things like that. Um, do you film everything just on your phone, or do you have any additional equipment that you use?
I bought a camera.
Hmm.
I started on my phone, and then once I made money, I bought a camera.
Okay. What kind of camera do you use now to film?
I can show it to you because I have it.
Sure.
I did research beforehand, um, but this is the camera that I have. It's a
Okay.
Canon G.
Yeah.
It's a Canon G7X.
Okay. And those are nice because that's still lightweight. That's not like a
Mhm.
behemoth that you're trying
Yeah.
to, hang on off of stuff or, that kind of thing. How do you do your overhead filming? Because I feel like that's like the secret success, I think, of figuring out how to do that without making it into a headache.
This is my favorite part about this camera is that I screw it to a tripod, and then the
Mm-hmm.
tripod tilts downwards, and then
Uh-huh.
the screen flips up.
Yep.
So then it points down at my hands, and I just watch the
Oh, and
screen.
you're watching. Okay, that's super smart.
So I just watch the screen so I can see it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
I think that's always nice because I feel like people get super intimidated when they're first starting out of like, well, do I need all of this fancy equipment? Do I need, I think it just feels overwhelming. And
right.
so I think it's nice to know like there are still videos that I film on my phone because it's easy.
Hmm.
And, I mean, I have a really nice camera and I use that for certain things, but I feel like it's nice to let people know like a lot of people start just using their phone or still use their phone,
Yeah.
so you can
Hmm.
just start with what you have.
Definitely. I film it upside down because I don't want the tripod sitting in my lap.
Hmm.
I put it across the table from me. I film it
Hmm.
upside down, and then when I'm editing, I just flip it right side up.
And what do you use to edit?
I just use Windows video editor that comes on my computer. Nothing
Hmm.
fancy.
Yep, same. I have a Mac, but I use what came on it. I think it's like
Yeah,
iMovie or something.
yeah.
So no fancy schmancy. I know a few people that use like Premiere Pro, and I'm like, I don't even
I
want to
can't.
mess with that right now.
I can't.
Maybe in the future when I want to get crazy.
No, all I need is like cut
Uh-huh.
and then put them together, and that's
Yep. And I think you do some of the speeding up in the middle. I think I watched some of your videos, so that's probably
yeah.
the only other thing. And that's the same. I like cut and paste in there, and then, I think I did one voiceover once. So like I had a video that I was filming and my husband was doing something in the other room and I realized it was louder than I thought it was. And so
Hmm.
I was like, well, I'll just do a voiceover. So I just tried to talk myself through the video as it was going. So that was a super interesting one to try to film.
Yeah, I have to record whenever my boyfriend is out of the house
Hmm.
because I
Because I
can't
feel
do
like
voiceovers.
well, and I feel like it's no matter how many times I say, I'm going to go film, something always comes up.
Yeah,
Something's like, hey, what are you doing?
yeah.
Okay, so let's see. I want to go through, I have a few more. Um, when it comes to your business, this is a good one since you're doing this full time. Do you set any kind of plans or goals or anything for your business, or do you just wing it right now?
I wing it,
Okay.
and I know that I shouldn't, but I do.
And I don't think that's a bad thing. That's why I wanted to ask because I think most of us when we start out, it's that way. It's like, okay, well, this is working, so I'll do more of this. Um, but I think so even if you're kind of winging it day to day, are there things where you do have outward goals of like, I'm going to get this new pattern done by this date? Or is there anything like that? Or is it really just, I'll get it done when it gets done?
Um, hmm. I have like general goals, but I don't have date goals.
Okay.
It's like,
Sometimes that's nice when if you deal with any kind of anxiety, it's like you don't want to set yourself in this position to then like get anxious about a date coming up that you may not reach. And you don't have to because it's your business.
right. I just have like general goals. It's like, well, I want to, what was the goal that I set? Well, I'm planning on moving this year, so I'm like, I
Okay.
want to write. Well, I want to get down my yarn stash this year, so it'll be easier to move. So,
That's so smart.
so I either want to make more products to use up the
Hmm.
yarn, and if I don't get that done, then I'm probably gonna sell some of the yarn.
Okay.
Um,
Like a D-stash kind of sale.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's smart too.
I also would like to write at least 3 new patterns this year.
Okay. That's a goal. It's totally a goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will they probably be crop tops or do you have other garments in mind that you're thinking of?
Yeah, I have 2 crop tops started right now. Um, but they're crop tops that I already have designed. I just like
Hmm.
need to write the pattern for it
Okay.
because
That
I
makes
have
sense.
a lot of crop tops that I already have designed in the past. I
Hmm.
just have never actually written a pattern for it.
Do you
I
know it
have
like by memory?
I have a written pattern for myself, just not for the
Okay.
public, you know.
Okay. That's smart. Yeah. So it'll probably be easier to go back and write them because you do have the notes. It's not like you're having to specifically remember just from memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay. What inspires you creatively now? What are some of the things that you look to, especially if you find yourself like in a rut where maybe you're just feeling creative block? You know, what are some of the things you do to keep inspired?
mm, I get inspiration from everywhere. Like it could be anything, honestly. Like I get inspiration from nature, TV shows, like honestly, like a color palette could give me
Yeah.
inspiration. Um, I like taking inspiration from clothing. I don't like
Hmm.
taking inspiration from crochet clothing, but sewed clothing. I'm like, how can I make that into crochet? You know?
Yeah.
Um, Especially
And you
because
can sew, can't you sew? Or you learned at least the basics?
yeah, I actually I was in college for 2 years and I went my major was fashion design, so I've actually taken a lot of sewing classes. And I sew with my grandma. We actually make quilts together.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, I sew quite a bit. I know the at least the basics of actually making clothing patterns and stuff. So I'm like, how can I make that into a crochet piece? You know,
Do you feel like that has helped you when it comes to construction of garments, of having that knowledge
I
of
think it
that
has
side of things?
helped me a lot. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I've had people that are like, how, especially recently, I've been making my ruffle top, which is
Hmm.
just 2 cups and a ruffle on the bottom. And I've had so many people that are like, how do you make the ruffle? I'm like,
Hmm.
what do you mean? How do you make the ruffle? You just
You make a ruffle. Yeah.
you make a ruffle. Which in fabric, it's like super easy. You just
Hmm.
you take a long strip and you bunch it up and then you sew it
Hmm.
bunched
Yeah.
up. And with crochet, it's like basically the same thing,
Hmm.
the same concept. You would take a long, you would make a long piece and you would like bunch it up all in the same spot. So
Hmm.
you would just, what I do is I just double make a bunch of increases all in one
Hmm.
spot along the
Yeah.
bottom and then just keep crocheting down.
Yeah. Yeah. Give us a full tutorial.
Yeah. Well, I'm writing a pattern for it right now. You can buy it later.
Awesome.
But everyone was like, I never would have thought to do that. And I was like, that just, like, I didn't even think twice about it because I already
Yeah.
know how to do that, you know?
Yeah. I think it's always mind-blowing when you have to remember that the things that you take for granted of simple things. Like for me, it was I shared a tutorial on how I tie my ends off because I don't like to weave them in.
Yeah.
And I didn't even, I was like, I'm sure other people do this, but then you realize they probably don't. So like sharing these little tutorials of like the things that you do because you've always done it that way.
Yeah.
I think it's, sometimes people think, well, that's stupid. Like, why would I share that? Because everybody's going to know that. And then they don't. And you realize that like you're teaching people things.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Do you have other creative hobbies? So I know you sew, and it sounds
Yeah.
like you've quilted, which is awesome because I think quilting is so cool. But are there other things that you like to do that are creative hobbies?
Yeah, let's see what else. I recently got into cross stitching, which is fun. It takes
That's
forever
something I
though.
want to try. Yeah, and is that the loop the hoops where you do that, or is it on stuff outside of that too? I think you can do it either way, right?
Yeah, you can put it on a hoop. Um, sorry, I actually learned it from my grandma's cousin.
Okay.
Um, she taught me recently whenever we were moving her. She moved and she's pretty old, so we helped her move houses. And she actually used to crochet, and
Hmm.
she's a bit of a collector. I wouldn't call her a hoarder, but I
Okay.
call her a collector. And she used to crochet, but she can't anymore because of her wrists. So she cross
Hmm.
stitches. And she had so much yarn.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And she decided to give it to me. So I'm 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 not even exaggerating. She gave me like 25 of those like gray storage tubs
Oh
of
my
yarn.
gosh. Where do you store them all?
Um, I have an outside storage closet at my apartment,
Okay.
and then I also have about 10 of them at my grandma's house.
Wow. So
Yeah,
you do have a lot of yarn to work through. Are you considering that part of your stash that you're going to have to work through this year?
yes.
Yeah.
But I've had it for about 5 years.
Okay.
But yeah, she taught me that. So I've now started a collection of cross stitching kits that I need to work through.
That's
But it takes
cool.
so long. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't need another hobby. Um,
I think we all tell ourselves that anytime we find something new, like, no, I hope I don't like this because I don't want another thing that I'm obsessed with now and collecting craft supplies for.
yes. I like painting, but
Okay.
not intricate painting. I like abstract painting.
Do you have what kind of paints do you like to use?
Oh, just acrylic paints.
Okay.
I did this.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just stuff that I
That
can just like hang up around my
and
house.
that's super detailed. Like the lines are so sharp. That's really nice.
I just used tape. I just
Yes.
taped it off. Oh yeah.
I'll show you because you're showing a painting. I have one painting that I'm going to hang up in my office space because it's like the only one that I've ever considered finished. So let me
Yeah.
grab that. I'll show you. It's right here.
Okay.
So both of my grandmothers were oil painters.
Oh
And so
really?
that's really the only type of paint I've ever used, but it's difficult, to try to use it and it's awful to like clean up. So I finally got rid of all my paints when we moved because I didn't think I'd do it again. But this is the one piece that I got framed that's like this crazy lady.
That's awesome.
But I left her at my grandmother's house and I didn't finish it. Like this is all, just white canvas. And my grandmother told me, I came to visit. She's like, hey, you left this painting that you were working on. and you didn't finish it. Do you want to finish it while you're here visiting? And I went in and looked at it. I was like, it's good enough. I'm just going to call it done. Because if I mess with it anymore, it will never be finished. So I just said, it's done. I'm framing it. It's a finished piece. I'll be proud of it.
I think it's beautiful. I love her hair.
That's what, and it was like, it's perfect for my yarn room because everything's super colorful. So I'll hang up one of the only pieces I ever finished.
Yeah.
So that leads me to asking, because you have all this yarn, I wanted to ask you a couple questions about the yarn that you use, because I think that's something that people always love to know about makers.
Right.
What is your favorite type of fiber to work with? Or do you have different favorites for different things?
I think I definitely have different favorites for different things. So for all of my crop tops, I use cotton.
Okay.
Because cotton is the best for summer items. It's like the most breathable, especially if it's going to be like super close to your skin.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always use cotton for my crop tops.
And is it usually like a four weight? Because I've seen you use like the sugar and cream a lot, and that's a 4, right?
Yeah, I like using a 4 weight because I'm really impatient.
Look who you're talking to. This is like the super bulky person. No patience. 0.
I like my things to be done really fast. So yeah, anything that's like a 3 and under, I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want to use it.
Feel ya. 100%. Have you ever combined 3 weights to make a 4? Have you ever held 2 strands together?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun one for me. I enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
I wanted to show you as we're talking about stuff, because I'm working on my first size inclusive crop top, because the very first pattern I ever released was a crop top, but it was only extra small to XL because I didn't really understand how to add more sizes and I didn't have anyone to test it. And I'm doing the 5 weight. It's the home deck yarn. And I wanted to see if you had ever used this for your crop tops. And if you haven't, I'm going to tell you that you should, because it's awesome for crop tops.
Really?
Yes. So the structure of it, it's a cotton blend. It's like cotton and like either nylon, or like it's got a little stretch to it. So it washes really well. And it's got like this structure to it. So there's a little bit of stretch. And since it's a size 5, it works up even faster. So, but that's what it looks like so far.
I've used that for sweaters.
Let me know if you try it and let me know what you think, because I absolutely love it for crop tops. That's usually, I have like 6 or 7 like bralettes that I wear once it gets warm. That's all I wear during the summer. And all of them are either the Bernat, the home deck, or it's a discontinued brand by Lion Brand. It was Dream Maker, and it was like their version of home deck because it's a 5 and it's very, very similar, like a cotton, I think it's an acrylic nylon blend, but it was still really soft and it washed well. And they're awesome. I wear them all the time. I've got one now. This is one, that one. That's home deck.
Cool.
So,
okay.
Especially knowing, like you said, that you have less patience, because I totally am on that level. So let me know.
And the faster you can get them done, like the more you can sell.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly true. Someone did ask, someone asked what was the name of the yarn. So this was home deck, Bernat Maker home deck yarn. It's a 5. The other one was called Dream Maker, and you can still find it out there, but it's difficult since it was discontinued. But they had more colors.
Yeah.
That was why I liked them so much.
Yeah.
Someone asked, if you don't sell at craft shows, where do you sell your stuff? Which I know it's mostly online, but you can kind of go into if you have multiple places where you sell things and if you have kind of a preference there.
Right. So I started selling on Etsy. That's where I first started selling, but recently I moved to Shopify. So I have my website, passionategoods.com. that is where I sell all of my physical products. So any of my crop tops, cardigans, anything like bucket hats, anything that you
Mm-hmm.
want that is actually anything physical that I make, that's where I sell it. Um, my website. Any of my patterns, I sell those on Etsy still, and I also put them on Ravelry recently.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I sell those. And I'm pretty sure that's it. That's everywhere that I sell stuff. So
Cool. How has it been having your own website? Have you enjoyed that transition? I think for some people it feels um, maybe intimidating to start your own website.
it was intimidating. The whole process of like setting it up and
Mm-hmm.
figuring it out was pretty hard. But after you get that out of the way, it's been really nice.
Good. That's good to know.
Yeah. I'm so
Where
sorry.
do you where do you like to buy your yarn? That was another one that I was going to ask. Do you like to shop online? Do you have favorite stores? And do you have like a methodology to how you buy it? Do you buy for certain things, or is just like this color speaks to me, I'm going to buy a whole bunch of it?
Um, a little bit of both. Obviously, whenever I have orders and stuff, I buy yarn for the orders,
Hmm.
but I also buy things that are pretty because I love them and I need them. I'm like, ooh, I need this because it's beautiful.
Uh-huh.
So, also, if it's on sale, I'm like,
Yeah.
that sale is so good. I need this
Hmm.
right now. Um, but yeah, I tend to wait to buy things until they're on sale, or if I have a coupon, I try
Yep.
to do that. I like to shop at Michael's and Joann's mainly. Joann's
Hmm.
is my go-to, just
Is it
because
closer to you?
no,
Okay. I
but
always wondered
also
because I've never had a Joann's close to me. I feel like Michael's and Hobby Lobby have always been closer, and but I want to go to Joann's.
actually mine are all in the same place. They're all right,
Wow,
they're all right next to each other, like within a 5 minute drive of each other.
that's
So
nice.
I can go, it's like 15 minutes and I can hit all three and just go back home.
That
So
actually sounds a little dangerous.
yeah, but my Michael's is not very good. It doesn't have a big selection. So
Okay.
it's like I can literally walk into my Michael's and leave with nothing because they don't
Uh,
like I can go in, it's like I don't really even see anything that I want here. So
yeah.
but
Okay.
yeah.
And do you
Not
prefer to go in person, or do you online shopping very much with yarn?
um gosh, I
It's okay.
sorry. I go in person a lot, but right now I online shop a lot. But that is because I can't drive right now because
Okay.
I'm on pause right now. I
Okay.
had a seizure last month and I can't drive for 6 months, so
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
not allowed. It's illegal.
How has that been? I mean, I feel like it must feel like a blessing that you made the choice to work for yourself and your
Mhm.
business
Yeah,
going through this.
right. Yeah, it's been really nice because I can take a break whenever I feel bad. I
Hmm.
don't have to work if I don't need to work. Um, and pattern sales keep me going, obviously, because
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything whenever I sell a pattern.
Yeah.
Uh,
Isn't that nice?
yeah. Um, but my boyfriend will take me to the yarn store whenever I need to go to the yarn store, so there's
That's
no
great.
problems. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
he
do
just,
you go ahead?
sorry, he he just works. He actually just got home, so he just works in the mornings, and we
Oh,
have
that's
like
nice.
it's like 1 o'clock, so I have like the rest of the day. Well, I'll probably ask him to take me to Joanne's after this live, so I need to get some yarn anyway.
That's awesome. I thought you were working through your stash. What happened to that?
Oh yeah. Okay, no, but I have orders. I have orders.
Yes, that's well, that was so I don't know if you saw the limited edition blanket yarn that Michaels put out. It's Bernat blanket yarn. It's their brand, but I guess they were only selling it at Michaels. And I'm trying really hard. I try to have like a focus for my yarn. If I'm going to buy it, I need to know kind of some kind of idea of what I'm going to use it for. You know, even if it's as broad as like, this is going to be a new design. So I need to buy enough to like make a cardigan.
Right.
And I saw this yarn, someone posted it on Instagram and I was like, I have to have it. Like it is so me, have to have it. None of the Michaels in my area sold it. So like I went online and I looked, nobody had it. And I actually had someone, I don't know if she's on here now, but we had been, you know, talking, connected just through Instagram. And she was like, my Michaels has it. I'm going to go get you some and I'll send it to you. So like talking about the community, you know, of having people who are like, I got your back. I got you. And I think it came today. So I get to check that out. But I was like, why would you make this limited edition? It's gorgeous. But that's always the colorful yarn. I feel like they're like, okay, we've had that out long enough. We're going to throw that out and just bring back some more neutrals.
The problem is that I'll have a top that's really popular and people just order that one top like 20 times. So I keep having to buy that color yarn over and over and over again. And it's like, I bought this yarn so many times.
Feel like, can y'all choose another color?
I know. So I keep having to go back to the store. And I'm like, but every time I go back, I'm like, but that one's pretty too.
So do they know you at your store?
I feel like they do, but they don't say anything.
Okay.
It's funny because they're like, oh, what are you making every time
Yeah.
with crop tops? And they're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Again.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one, and it was only when I was selling finished products, because now I don't go very often. You know, if I'm just buying to design, I'm not buying to sell. But they definitely knew me because I was always the one who was like asking for the manager, not in a negative way, but just to be like, hey, so can, you know, this sale is online. Can you honor it in the store? Because like, you know me, you know?
Yeah.
And they were always so good about it. Once I knew like the general store manager, they were like, oh yeah, we can do that. I'm like, let's make friends. Well, we are at the end of our time, and I'm just so glad you came on. I really appreciate it, and I hope that everyone who joined in today, because we have a lot of people, we've still got 47 people here hanging out with us, and I hope that you all enjoyed it, and I hope you'll all go go show Kelsie some love here. If you're on TikTok, go find her if you haven't already. And if you ever want to do this again, let me know. I am looking at, right now, I've been bringing new people on each time I do this, but I'm looking at starting to bring people back and picking topics. And that way we can just chat about a specific topic within the community. If there are things that, you know, you're working on that you want to share, talk about yarn and all that fun stuff. But I just really appreciate that you took the time to come on. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. And I hope you have a great weekend. I hope it's nice weather there. It's actually pretty here. Is it pretty there?
Yes.
So that means it's perfect weather to tell your boyfriend it's time to go to Joann's. Awesome. Well, thank you guys all so much. And for anyone who asked, because I did see a few people in the comments, this video will be posted here on Instagram. It will be here for you to catch up on. I also post these to my YouTube. So if YouTube is easier for you to catch up on things and watch things, you can check it out over there. It'll be up within the next hour or so. And I will have links to all of Kelsie's information in the YouTube description. But you can also just go to her Instagram here and check out the link in her bio, and you can find all the different ways to support her. and see all of her awesome things and check her patterns out, especially if you like crop tops. And because do you have, what else do you have in do you have a cardigan now too? You have a granny square cardigan, or is that just on YouTube?
Just on YouTube. I don't have the written
Well,
pattern.
yeah, you guys check that out because I still haven't done a granny square cardigan. It's in my future, so I might have to go check it out myself. Um, but yeah, you guys have a fantastic weekend. And Kelsie, thank you so much again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, guys.
Bye.